If you surf through YouTube, TikTok, or any other video channels, you will find tons of videos that discuss topics like 10 things the rich do that the poor don't, or something similar like probably 100 things the rich do that the poor don't. I don't really explain the differences, even though many of them are pretty intriguing and entertaining to see. But honestly, do you think the difference between the rich and the poor is maybe in the way that they talk or sleep? Or do you genuinely believe that the wealthy have more frequent showers, or that the impoverished play more video games than the wealthy? I don't either. You won't get wealthy by suddenly cutting back on your TV watching, since the main difference in how people handle money is in their mentalities. In this video, we'll look at 8 actions taken by the impoverished that maintain them in poverty. But before I do that, please make sure you watch this video until the end, and do not skip any part so that you don't miss out on those 8 things that could potentially change your life. Also, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Number 1. Working harder than necessary. Those who live in poverty work harder than what is required to get what they have. But is it really hard to earn a living? The answer is no. The problem with the poor is that they do not know when they're crossing the limit of hard work. They overwork themselves to progress in their career, and if it isn't enough, they might think about putting in more time or taking on a second job. The issue with this is that, regardless of how much money you make, wealthy individuals are well aware of the fact that everyone has a certain amount of time. Consequently, they let their money work hard for them rather than doing considerable effort to earn it. Instead of treating money as a simple piece of paper they can use to buy whatever they want, as most people do, they view it as a tool that can help them earn even more money. Of course, everyone will likely first have to work hard for their money. But for the rich, this labor is transient, while for the poor, it is permanent. You will enjoy greater independence once you have a sufficient income to support yourself. Number 2. Having a strong belief that they are experts. Next, the underprivileged believe they are experts. I find this very crazy, trust me. When faced with financial difficulties, what do people do? They bemoan the situation. You can place the blame on a huge variety of factors, ranging from the nation's leaders in politics to your boss. He will reply that this is my money and I know how to manage it if you suggest that he pick up a book and study even the fundamentals of money management. So why on earth are you perpetually broke if you have it all figured out? They'll continue to provide you with excuses after that. Additionally, everything else is included as well as money. You must have seen that when individuals argue, they attempt to show their correctness, regardless of whether they are correct, rather than attempting to learn. In addition, I was fairly stubborn as a teenager, so I guess I've always had this mentality. I later understood, however, that if I carried on in this manner, I will never advance. As a result, I stopped acting as though I knew everything and began focusing on my shortcomings and how I could improve them. If you've gotten to this point in the video, please comment on what you think about the first 2 points. If it has affected you personally, please share your experience in the comment section below. Number 3. Not knowing what freedom means. Freedom has little meaning to the poor. In fact, the idea of being free is like a mirage, something far-fetched from them. Not living in a democracy is not what I mean when I talk about freedom. Freedom is the ability to do what you want, how you want, and where you want, instead of living the life that someone else wants you to live. That is why you hear a lot of people say things like, "You can find happiness without money," "I can live without money," "Don't make your life all about money," or the most famous one of them, "Money is the root of all evils." Yet some work all day long, from sunrise till evening for little, simply to keep bill collectors away from their homes, doing a job that they wish they could leave. Not only do they despise their job, but they also presumably despise their employer, and if given the opportunity, they could go away with their bosses, or they would quit their jobs if a better offer comes along. Money represents freedom for precisely this reason. How do you expect to have money if you think it is evil? Rich people continue to accumulate wealth because it makes them free to pursue any activity and pleasure they please. Number 4. Playing on the defense with money. Poor people engage in defense. Teams that begin a game by being defensive often end up losing the game. No wonder people frown when coaches employ defensive tactics in a game, even when they are winning earlier. From experience, that is how the majority of people play the game of money. In contrast to competing for first place or winning, their main objective is to avoid losing. All they desire is to keep themselves debt-free by paying off all their expenses. When your objective is to merely be out of debt, that's the best you can hope for with this tactic, which is where the trouble lies. You would not be gingered to accumulate more. Naturally, there are those who are a little better than that. They invest probably around 20 to 25% of their income in the stock market. If the stock market does not crash, it may give them a safety net for their later years. Others may consider buying bonds that are a bit safer than the stock market with a fraction of their income. But up until that time, they'll be stuck in the security of a meager salary. It may not be a bad idea. However, if all you want is to cover your bills, you'll continue to live where you are. Stop playing defense, start playing offensive, and aim for the moon if you want to build true prosperity. Therefore, wise men once said, if you aim for the stars, you'll at least strike the moon. Number 5. Hating the rich and wealthy. The wealthy and successful are despised by the poor. Some days ago, when I was reading a recent column for business in a news blog, I came across an interview of a well-known and successful business person. I read some of the people's opinions, and I was taken aback. What I saw clearly explained when the poor keeps getting poorer. A number of people said this guy doesn't deserve to be on this channel or anything to that effect, and it truly frightened me. To get there, the person put a lot of effort into it. He may have inherited part of his riches, but he is almost certainly much more disciplined than you are. Anyway, I think some people just feel they have the right to hate a particular family for being wealthy. Here is a practical tip. Why don't you join them instead of hating them? Real quick, if you guys are enjoying this video, which I put a lot of time and energy into, I would really appreciate it if you guys tap the like button and make sure you subscribe with notification on. And if we get 2,000 likes on this video, I'll drop a brand new video next week about the same topic. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 6. Lack of money management skills. Money management is a skill that needs to be learned. Poor individuals tend to mismanage their finances. You don't necessarily know how to manage money well just because you're earning it. The issue is that many people believe that controlling their money will limit their independence. They feel if they maintain a healthy money habit, they won't enjoy some of the pleasures of life, such as the happiness one feels when one gets a new device, for example. They don't want to be constrained by a spending limit or give much thought to their purchases. They thus decide to enjoy their paycheck immediately after it arrives. Much like compensation for their hard work, the fact still remains that money management skills are necessary for you to become independent financially. Real freedom, on the other hand, is not that fleeting sensation of mindless satisfaction. The second misconception is that managing it requires a high level of income. The fact is, the more your income, the harder it becomes to manage them, I assure you. Do you really believe you can manage 10 times that money if you can't even manage your paycheck properly? Number 7. Concentrating only on the problems. Poor individuals concentrate on challenges. One of my pals wants to launch a restaurant franchise. In fact, he's been saying that to me for the past 3 to 4 years, but whenever I question him why he hasn't begun yet, he usually says, I don't have the money, and I don't want to get into debt, and that's the problem. People who are struggling to make ends meet are often looking for problems. He could have located a financier and at the very least accumulated enough money to begin in these 4 years. Even worse, he hasn't researched the market. Not even a strategy exists for him. He thinks that once he has the money, the rest will just magically take care of itself. However, he will ultimately only run into another barrier that will stop him. Whatever industry you want to enter doesn't matter. Obstacles will always exist. There are countless possibilities for things to go wrong. And if you're like my friend, who does nothing but whine about how hard things are, you're probably in a similar precarious financial situation to him. Some individuals have elevated this to new heights. They might say, what if my plans don't succeed despite my input and resources? Or what if I fail and the public finds out? The truth is, nobody is concerned. I'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to hit the like button. Your support will enable me to continue producing such useful content. If you have already liked my video and subscribed to my channel, that's awesome. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video. Number 8. Looking out for time-based compensation. Poor individuals prefer to be compensated on a time-based basis. It seems that is enough to take care of their daily needs. No one really cares whether you have a college degree or you are super talented or intelligent for you to deserve being paid $50 per hour. Most times, your employers just offer you what is within their budget in comparison with what you have to offer. In the end, per hour pay won't do you much good. What comes into play to differentiate between the rich and the poor is value. For example, despite the fact that you may be working harder than Bill Gates, you will not be earning the same amount of money per hour as Gates. The reason is that Gates is offering more value to the world than you are. You're too comfortable getting bills on an hourly basis. So each minute you spend whining, his company is benefiting millions of people worldwide and generating millions for him. You've probably come to the conclusion that having a poor mentality, which leads to financial hardship, is what truly makes poor people poor. Although it's possible to alter your mindset, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll wake up with a bank account full of money. No, but gradually you'll begin to adopt a new perspective. You'll begin to adopt new ways of thinking. You will stop moaning and start making the most of any opportunity you come across. Additionally, you'll eventually get out of debt. The best way to help the poor, according to a wise man, is to avoid becoming one of them. Now, if you want to watch more videos like this, then you need to watch this video right here. This video is one of the best on this channel. You can click on this video to watch further.